Hey everyone, a very good morning and welcome back to a new daily market outlook. So diving into the markets for today, obviously we've had massive market movements yesterday, so let's see what is going on and what kind of updates there are to provide. So overall the dollar index obviously has crashed down in towards the downside massively, grabbing for now the liquidity below this swing low, and yeah, after that of course obviously reversing slightly in towards the highs. However, as of this morning we have just been dumping and dumping. So now just quickly looking at it, I'm not going to try and catch a falling knife and say, okay, let's start buying from here. I'm just going to let the dollar do its thing for now. I'm going to go back to the markets on Monday because obviously it is the end of December, so the markets are getting a little bit less, let's say high probability and less easy to trade, I would say, due to the reduced amount of liquidity that there is going to be in the markets, of course. If you just view the past years and look at the end of December in towards the beginning of January, the markets are obviously less interesting. So overall, but still, I mean, we can from here obviously see reversal in towards the highs on the dollar, but I'm not going to try and time anything, excuse me. For now, pretty much what we've seen is a fractal change in the overall daily structure, meaning that this is now your kind of like daily fractal supply. So for now, I mean, the dollar index could still head down lower. Also looking at this 4-hour chart, it kind of depends. Do we see it close below this low? Then obviously I will expect for the downside for now. If we do not close below this low and we start to see the market reverse, then this is obviously my first area of supply from where I will see, okay, are those bearish intentions real, or was it just kind of like a news impulse in towards the downside? So I'm going to be keeping my eyes out because swing structure on the 4-hour is still bearish. Until we pretty much sustain this low. If we close below this low, then of course the bias will change, and then we can see that further upside occur. But for that, I'm just going to be waiting in towards Monday, let the market do its thing these last 2 days of the week, and see whatever happens. Now moving on in towards euro dollar. So euro dollar has now made its push in towards the highs. It's pullback on the overall swing structure. So our swing high is still located over here. Swing low is now located over there. So what I'm now waiting for is obviously, okay, if we look at the overall market, we have now made a pullback in towards discount. So from this area within the market, you want to be looking for those shorts once again. Now, when we look at supply and demand, what we can kind of see is, okay, there is, let's say, some demand still inside, for example, this candle over here, or we have some demand, let's say, over here inside the extreme, kind of inside this, let's say, small range before that massive drop off in towards the downside. For the rest, what I really like about the liquidation, at least on the dollar, or on the euro dollar, excuse me, is pretty much that we've taken out all these kind of like highs over here, which were kind of acting as liquidity. Back during the beginning of the week and last week, we kind of grabbed liquidity at least above this high over here. But then obviously we reverse in towards the high. So now these internal highs kind of have also been taken out. So let's keep an eye on this zone and this zone. Potentially, I'll be waiting for kind of like a change of character reaction from these zones, and then let's see if we can get that for the downside. That's gonna pretty much be my watch list for euro dollar. And obviously let's see if the dollar index can reverse and kind of sustain that push on euro dollar back in towards the downside. Otherwise we could see a higher push on euro dollar. Now going in towards Aussie dollar, this area of 4-hour demand has pushed price all the way in towards the highs. So a break of structure over here on Aussie dollar. Now, what I'll just be waiting for is, of course, a long when we start pushing back in towards kind of like this range over here. So if we do see that, then that is where I'm going to be longing from. At the moment, not really looking for any trades actively. I mean, we're still inside this area of supply. So we could start seeing a pullback because after 4-hour BOS, we do expect a pullback. But pretty much for that pullback to, let's say, occur, you would want to see, let's say, a change of character and a reaction to an area of supply. So for example, over here we kind of have, let's say, this imbalance candle over here on 11 o'clock Monday 31st of July. So potentially we could react from there, but I mean, we still need a lot of structural development. What we would need is a bearish candle close over here, then for example one more push up, fractal break of this high, and then something like this to trade it back down in towards this area of demand. These are of course lower probability trades, but you can trade them and take them. But yeah, of course the highest probability trade is now going to be from this area of demand over here. Longing Aussie dollar. Now moving on in towards pound dollar. So pound dollar has pushed up in towards this area of supply, which you mentioned at the beginning of the week. Again, pound dollar is still bullish. So internal structure is now also bullish, fractal structure now also bullish. So I wouldn't be looking for any shorts from here. What I would be waiting for is a pullback in towards the downside, let's say in towards this refined area, this sell before the buy, which is now your demand zone. However, no liquidation in that move up. So what is likely is that you'll kind of see a first impulse and then this, and then, for example, the real pushback up. Just keep it in mind when looking for longs on pound dollar. Am I shorting from here? No, because overall swing structure is still bullish. Internal structure is now bullish. So yeah, too much bulls active. So let's just wait, guys, and see, okay, do we get that pullback? If not, just wait for kind of like a new internal structure to form and look for longs later on. Current next target is kind of this area of supply over here. If we move straight in towards there, just kind of like look for those aggressive entries until over here. Otherwise, just wait for the pullback and then look for longs from there. So yep, that is pound dollar. Moving on in towards NZDUSD. So NZDUSD overall, yeah, kind of if we look at patterns, of course, we kind of had this corrective descending price action. Nothing really committing in towards the downside. So could have seen this impulse in towards the highs come. But whatever, for the rest, looking at the daily, I mean, daily has now seen a bullish fractal break of structure. To the left, there isn't really any clear supply saying, okay, ready for some more downside. So what we could just keep on doing, of course, is longing as long as this fractal low over here now holds. So now going towards the 4 hour, because you know the daily is bullish and the daily fractal structure is also bullish. Now keep your eyes out for this clean area of 4 hour demand. If we see push in towards there, you could look for those potential longs. So that's NZDUSD. Then gold. So gold was actually very interesting yesterday. At the moment, we are or have pulled back in towards supply. What I'm looking at is, okay, maybe kind of like a liquidity grab above the high of 2041, and then, for example, the start of a pullback. But I'll be keeping my eyes out. What I preferably want to refer to, obviously, is this fresh area of 4 hour demand, which you pointed out this week. And you guys know what you want to look for when you take those longs. Because look, so overall on a daily time frame perspective, it's pretty clear, right? So we have like the impulse up, the pullback, the impulse up, now pullback, and then obviously we expect a new impulse up, right? With the trend in towards the highs. Now, what happens is that price pulls back in towards this overall sell before kind of like the buy in towards the highs, right? So you know the overall order flow is good. Then if we went in towards the daily here, this specific candle, we knew there was demand inside there. Then go in towards the 4 hour, okay, this sub for the buy, liquidation happening over here on this swing low. So then when we get in towards this area of demand, you want to see kind of like the fractal structure change and then look for those longs. So when I then went in towards the 4 hour yesterday and I was monitoring what gold was doing, I think it was pretty clear that we can see over here we had a fractal break of the low. So this was the fractal low break. Obviously we kind of pushing in towards the downside like this. Then this becomes your fractal high over here of this kind of like doji candle. Then this over here becomes your demand zone. And then that is where you want to be longing. So from where you can long in towards the highs. Obviously with your stop loss below demand. Like this, and then for 1 to 3 is what I would target. So beautiful trade opportunity, of course, all news related. So I'm not sure if you would have taken it, but just kind of like pointing out how you could have traded gold yesterday. I mean, for the rest, I'm not really or have been trading these dollar pairs because it's the end of the year and just waiting for better markets to return. So mainly focusing on crypto. But that's that for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions whatsoever, make sure to join the Discord server, link in the description down below, and wish you all a fantastic day. Thanks, guys.